Alright, what is up guys? So this is part 2 of my 4-star challenge in the maze. There are actually 2 fights that you can choose from, so let's first go through Adeptoid. He has the no resistor, limber, and unblockable special 1, so Ronan and Quake don't really work here in this fight. And let's first go through his abilities. So he is a robot, so he is immune to both bleed and poison, and after every special attacks of his, he goes unstoppable for 6 seconds, and for every 8 seconds he triggers a power gain buff. So yeah, that can be really annoying. But if we take a look at Nebula's passive abilities, ability accuracy of robots is reduced by 20% per electroshock charge. So yeah, you can just parry him and carry on charging your charge. So up to 5 will do it. You will completely shut down his abilities, and what you want to do next is to not parry him, otherwise you will inflict those shock charges on him. And you can go in after his special attacks. He will not go unstoppable, and you can also intercept him whenever you dash back and do a light attack. Medusa would definitely work well in this fight once you get her armor shattered debuff on the opponent, but I prefer having the option of able to go in and punish the opponent after every special attacks. So yeah, next up we have Iceman. You can actually choose between Adept or Iceman. If you have Sabretooth, that will really work well, but just want to show you guys this. This actually happened in the fight. Attempted to do a 5-hit combo, but I don't know what happened there. He was back against the wall, and there was actually no way that I could have missed that 4th basic hit. So yeah, just fix your shit, kabam. I ended up having to use 1 revive. I guess it was because of my sweaty palms. Yeah, I didn't manage to swipe back during his special 1 activation. So the things to take note of when fighting Iceman is that whenever his ice armor is up, your parries will be shrugged off, so he can immediately counterattack you if you let go of your block. And to evade his special 1, try not to dash back too early whenever you see him using it. Try to only swipe back whenever you see his arms up thrust forward. Alright, so once you're done with that Iceman, you can go forward to the left side of the Thanos. That will be the one that we are going to talk about. So the first 60% of his health bar is really easy if you're using the stun tactic, and the next 10% it's still rather easy and manageable, and it's the last 30% of his health bar that is where he activates his War Stone. So yeah, during the remaining 30% of his health, that is where your skills might need to come into play, because you will need to intercept him to get the safeguard buff that prevents you from losing more than 25% of your max health whenever he uses his special 3. By the way, to be honest, the second Thanos, which was the one on the right hand side of the path that we could have gone, is slightly easier, but in this case, in this challenge, the second Thanos, his special 2 is actually an illusion. So basically you have to evade the real projectiles. There will be fake projectiles as well, so you have to identify it, and the only way to identify it is that it should be slightly highlighted or saturated, in a sense that you can easily identify it and swipe back. But in this case, in this challenge, it didn't seem that way, so that is why I'm suggesting to go to this first Thanos instead of the second one, although during his third phase it will be slightly easier to deal with that Thanos instead of this one, because you can easily go in for a hit after his special 3, and you can easily do that with a Gwenpool because she doesn't die from any special attacks once she is awakened. But anyways, if you're using Hulk, try to get just under 2 bars of power and go ahead and launch your special 1. And since I have the Fury buff active, you can go for a 5-hit combo, and if it's not active, try to go for 2 hits medium attack and then go for a 5-hit combo. So yeah, repeat this until he's down to 65% health. That will be his phase 2, and depending on whether you want to punish him at the start of his phase 2, you can actually swipe back, and which in this case is actually swiping forward because it's inverted controls. Yeah, you can punish him straight off at the start of his phase 2. So in order to evade his special 2, swipe back to evade the blast, swipe forward and forward to evade the projectiles, and then swipe back once more in order to punish him after his special 2. So yeah, repeat the same tactic, the stun tactic, until he's down to 40%, because that's when he will be stun immune. So now that we are done with the first 60% of his health, the next 10% will be slightly harder, but it's still very easy and manageable. So that is when you get to choose to either bait out his heavy attack and dash in for an intercept, or bait out his special 2 and then just counter attack afterwards. So yeah, I did show 2 methods in the fight to take him down to 30%. So once he enters his third phase, that is where he will be unstoppable unless he makes a dash attack towards us. So the only way to safely get the safeguard buff and to intercept him is, I think, via using your light attack, because you don't dash in when he's unstoppable like I did in this fight. So I made a terrible mistake. I thought he was going to make a dash attack towards me, but he didn't. So yeah, the next thing that I want to talk about is that if you are using Nebula, whenever the opponent deals more than 110% of their attack in a single hit, she repairs the damage taken over 5 seconds. So if you have the safeguard buff and you are above 25% in health, the likelihood of you able to survive 3 times of his special 3 is pretty high, because you will regenerate back those health lost from his special 3. Another way to get the safeguard buff is by dashing back early and going in for a light attack or medium attack. This is rather tricky because once he recovers from his dash attack, his unstoppable will be activated again. So yeah, you have to be really swift when doing this.